Oh boy. Quarantine hairstyle. Here we go. Hello, all of you out there that are getting ready. We're going to do a sound check here and make sure that we are live and ready to rock and roll with Bill Grimmer coming on. I can see Bill backstage here behind. And maybe if you guys can give me some thumbs up. I'm going to look at my phone. We had a few little technical difficulties today, but I'm just going to look at my phone right now and make sure. This is an exciting show, you guys. Bill Grimmer is a big name in canine world. Grimmer.ca. Go check it out. He's worked with Hollywood actors, police agencies, government, and he is coming on with us here now. So if you guys can just give me some thumbs up that you can hear me, I'd be super grateful. Where are you guys? And Bill, we're going to do a sound check with you as well. All right, I'm getting some thumbs up here. Excellent. How are you guys doing? What else are you going to do during this time? This is the time to take your pets and go, all right, let's learn some new tricks. And that's what Bill is coming on. He's also going to be coming on and explaining some answers to some questions because I have lots. I don't know about you guys and what you're doing during this time, but I have a few questions I can't wait to ask him. All right. I just got a message from somebody. I want to make sure that we're getting them all here. I'm excited. This is such a great show. My daughter's going to be on tonight, Eva. She's in the other room, and she is a dog lover like myself. So she's going to be on, and I'm excited. All right. Hi, Lucy DeLory, Susan Allen. Hello, hello. Okay, so you guys can hear us because I see a little chicken and an egg. So I'm assuming that you are sending me some chocolate, which is I'd love some right now. I did not stock up on chocolate. Beer, yes. Chocolate, no. Anyway, here we go. My daughter's on tonight. I'm so proud to have her on. So here we go. I'm going to bring everyone on screen. Give a round of applause, some thumbs up. This is my daughter's first show tonight. Hello, Margie McNeil from Sydney. Give me some thumbs and hearts up for Mr. Bill Grimmer and my daughter, Eva. Drum roll. Here we go. All right. Eva, don't get nervous on me now, girl. All right, there we go. Hi, Eva.
Hi.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Eva.
There we go. We're on here. So, Bill, I'm so happy you're on with us because as a family, and we are trying to sort out our roles in this and what roles we play. I know you just watched my video. I'm going to mute, Eva, I'm going to mute your microphone to the end so that you can watch us and ask Bill any questions you have at the end. Margie McNeil, hello from Sydney. Hello, Suzanne from Glaze Bay. We got people watching from Vancouver right now, from Germany. Oh, my goodness. We have a lot of people watching. This is great. All right. So, Bill, here comes the video. And there's, oh my gosh, there she is. That's Foxy. I got to put her on solo screen so you guys can all see her. Nice. And there we go, Bill. Show her again.
There's Foxy.
Oh my gosh.
Good boy.
Where's Annie?
Annie's right here. She's just waiting for her cue.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Bill, what should we do first? I want to show the viewers my little video, of course, of my second week of training with 2 German Shepherd puppies. What should we do first?
Well, I think we'll just do some, I'm going to intro this. First of all, I want to say Happy Easter to everybody. And hope everybody is having a good time and a safe time and staying home. And I guess that's why we're on the air. But on training, I'm going to give some basics that apply not only to a young dog or a new dog, but also to advanced dogs on any new technique you do. And all my work is based on building the dog's confidence to do something, and then developing the control to do what it wants to do when I want it to do it. And I guess from there, we'll open it up if you want to start.
All right, that sounds good, Bill. So viewers, here we go. Here is the second week of training with 10-week pups, and then Bill's going to critique it after. Is that okay, Bill?
You're playing the video now? There we go.
Down. Good boy, Thunder. Okay. Good boy. Good boy. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Good boy, hot guy. Good boy, Benny. Come. Come. Okay, that's it. Roll over. Good boy. Good boy. Roll. Okay. Come. Come. Lay down. Attention. Okay. Okay. Attention. Boys. Hey. Hey. Okay. Thunder. Please. Sit. Good boy. Okay.
All right, let's get this off the screen. Let's get us on the screen. Oh my gosh, Bill, I'm exhausted from week 2 of training. And I know I can just imagine what you have to say in that because I watched it myself several times.
She is not doing well.
And oops, there we go. Anyway, Bill, take it away. What are we going to learn tonight? And then give me some critiquing on my training, and let's take it from there. Let's put you solo on screen here.
Okay. So first of all, I love seeing the videos, and I like to listen to them and watch them a couple of times. But let's start with this. And some of my students are listening in, and they could take over now and tell you because I always talk to them on a constant mantra of what we're doing. I found the video, cute dogs, really nice dogs, and looks like they're eager to learn, and they seem to be very confident. But I found the video very hectic. I found it noisy. I heard a lot of voice that was unnecessary and confusion for the dogs. Secondly, I saw you working the dogs together when that would be the same thing as if you were teaching your children to do something and you were letting their brothers and sisters jump all over them while you were working with them. to me, you must separate the two dogs. One can stay and watch. The one that's watching can be as noisy, as boisterous as it wants to be. Hopefully it won't, but if it is, you ignore that and you just concentrate on the one that you're working at the time. Now you might be doing a 5-minute interval with the dog, and then you switch places. And the other one would be the one that would be either tied or put in the crate so it could watch, and then you'd proceed with that. But the voices, the talk, here we go. Mario is on here, I think, and Reg is here. Tammy's on there. Stacy's on there. I've got some friends that from Germany that are on there, and they all have heard the same thing from me over and over and over again. The reward is given after the dog does the behavior, and you as a coach have to be able to create that behavior. So the confidence of the animal is what we look at all the time, and we want to increase it. I could say to you, I want you to fly a jet plane today, and you'd panic. You don't know how, you don't have the confidence to do that. But if you had a good trainer and you spent the required amount of time, could you not fly that jet plane? Somebody else might be asked to fire a 105 millimeter howitzer, and he might be a soldier, and yet he's never done it before. So his confidence to do it is not there. Once his confidence is built up, then we start developing control. So I saw you teach your dog to come. I saw you teach your dog to lay down. I saw you teach your dog to sit. And every time it did those behaviors, you said, good boy. So what you did is you taught the dog to lay down, and that's a good boy. That is what it did. It didn't sit down. It didn't lay down. It was a good boy. Then you did the same thing when you got the dog to lay down. You said, good boy, when really it was a down. It wasn't a good boy. It was a down.
Yep.
So if I show you a potato and you've never seen a potato before, I shouldn't be holding a carrot in my hand when I say the word potato. Okay. So whatever you use to get the dog to come to you, it may be just a high pitched sound because they like that. You might be able to go, beep, 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 and the dog would run to you. So the dog is now ran to you because you've created it. Now you say the word come. The dog knows that, will learn that come is in the proximity sitting in front of you. But if you just say good boy after it came, then it didn't learn what the word was because you said the word when he was way away from you. So let me just break that down a little bit. Let me break that down a little bit with my little boy Foxy. Okay. So if I have a dog and he's standing up and I take a piece of cheese like this and I hold it up here, just tip that forward there like that. If I hold it up here, then he's now sitting down. Tip it up more there. And so now he gets the food for doing the behavior, and I say sit, 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 sit. Now, if I take that food, which it wants, if it's not hungry, it's not going to work. And I take it and I bring it down towards his paws.
Yep.
Down, 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 down. So I'm giving the dog food, which is the piece of cheese. I'm giving the dog sound, which is down, down, down. And I'm giving the dog touch, which is a staccato touch, because staccato touch moves back and forth like this. And negative touch is steady touch. Okay? So if I was teaching the dog to come, then I would have, I'd back away from the dog, not say anything. Often my students have been threatened that if I hear them talking too much to their dog, I use a tool like this. And once I use it on my students and ask them to train their dog, then they learn my concept. So really, you should not be saying anything to your dog until he does it. or she does it. So how do I get my dog to run towards me? Well, if he's hungry and I have the treats, he's going to run towards me. And when he runs towards me, he's going to get that treat or a piece of the treat. And he's also going to get the word come, because sound is a reward. If I say a sound like come, sit, down, in that tone, that's a reward. If I shorten it and I say come, sit, down, that's a negative. The dog does not like that. And Foxy just looked at me as if I was going to beat him or something because I said it that quick. So he knows that the tone is in a pleasing voice. And when the dog does it, he's told what he did. Sit, down, point, speak, roll over. All those behaviors come after the behavior. Okay? So if I found out that my dog wouldn't take this piece of cheese, then it's not a reward because the dog doesn't want it. Annie will work for this piece of cheese, but Annie will also work for a blueberry. So I switch back and forth. Sometimes I give her a blueberry. Sometimes I give her a piece of cheese. Whatever I have becomes a reward, but she gets it when she does the behavior. So you can spend 5 minutes with your dog, and when it comes to you, you can reward it. Then you can back up, and guess what? It'll come to you again. And you say come, and you reward it. And you back up again. And you back up faster, and you back up farther, and you develop it that way so that the dog is coming towards you. And if you've done that 20 times, now let's work on sit. Now let's work on roll over. All different subjects. But don't throw in come, sit, down, over, all those things right there. It's like taking a child and saying you're going to do math and science and history and all that all at once. And it can't comprehend it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep.
So that's my critique.
So what I just heard, I love it, Bill. I love it. And I told you I could handle anything because I'm committed. So what I heard was there was too much chatter, too much noise as a distraction. And they're new puppies. It's all, cute kids, everything. But what I'm hearing is tone of voice and pitch. And also less masking tape. I'll never forget the masking tape. Zip it and only use voice. This is it's about training me more than the dog.
You have three things. You have food, which is a reward for a behavior that you create. It's only a reward if the dog wants it. So when would you train your dog?
Right.
Not after you fed him, because it's not as a valuable a reward as it would be if he was hungry.
Right.
If he doesn't want it, I see people that try to give a dog a treat and the dog's pushing his head away and they're chasing him, trying to shove the treat in the dog's mouth. That can't be a reward because the dog doesn't want it. Secondly is sound.
Right.
Sound is a reward as long as it hears it. Good dog, bad dog. It doesn't matter what you say, what words you say, it's the tone. When it becomes the negative is when it wants it and can't have it. Just like if I stop in the middle of my sentence like that, it became negative. It made you uncomfortable because I stopped talking. So when I'm asking a dog to lay down, I don't want to say anything until I create the dog to go down. And then I want to say down in that tone, and I want to pet him and I want to give him a treat. And the dog will associate the word down with putting his front elbows on the ground.
So correct me if I'm wrong. What you're saying is get the dog to do first what you want it to do and then associate the word with that action. So until he's sitting, then say sit. Until he comes, then say come. But don't say it repeatedly before he's done the action. Is that what you're saying?
That's right, because he can't associate it that way, or he will eventually over many, many years. He will, but he'll learn it quicker. If my friends from Germany were trying to teach me their language, they wouldn't say the word before I even was looking at what it was doing or what it was for.
Right.
So you're teaching the dog a language, and at the same time, you're learning a language from the dog. So it's a change back and forth.
Right.
So when you
Yep.
use your touch on a dog, it is steady touch. It is not petting. So if the dog was scared and barking at somebody at the door, and you were saying, it's okay, it's my sister, then you're rewarding the dog with sound. And if the dog was barking at the door and he was scared and you were petting him and stroking him and saying, it's all right, then you're rewarding the barking and the fear with sound and touch.
Right.
And you might as well give the dog a cookie and do all three, because you're rewarding at the wrong time. But if the dog is barking at the door and you give a sound that's negative, like, hey, and then that dog will stop barking. And at that split second, 1 second after it creates the behavior, you say, good dog, good dog. Then you're rewarding the behavior you created and not the behavior that the fear was. Now, if it's fear that's driving it, then you have to expose it to all the things that cause it fear. I had a client or a friend send me a picture of their Rottweiler walking along the road. And when a motorcycle went by or a car went by, it turned and barked at it and barked at that car going by. But I watched it and it sort of moved backwards as it barked. So I told my friend, I said, your dog is scared of those noises from the vehicle. And so watch your dog and see if it's from big trucks or it's from little cars. If it's from big trucks, then maybe it's the sound tone that the dog is scared of. So you as a coach have to go out to the truck stop, and the 18-wheelers are, and take your dog out and give them little bits of food and make them confident to be around those big trucks coming in and out. And obviously, if we do this at a young age, we do it a lot quicker. The same thing is with our children.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm wrapping my head, and I'm also recapping last week's session with you, Bill, which was about, let's say there's lightning and your dog is anxious about the sound of lightning. And you associated with not encouraging him to be afraid of the lightning, but distracting him. My notes are distracting him and then saying, good dog. So in essence, that's what you're saying again, is associating at all times that moment, that action with, like you're teaching language.
Correct.
And that makes,
and you use the word distracting. You use the word distracting, which is the correct word, but also is redirecting a correct word.
Redirecting.
So some dog trainers use the word redirect as opposed to distract. Yeah. But it's just language there.
Redirect is a better word, actually. Yeah.
So if
so now you lead. Go ahead.
So if you were out in the field with your dog and you were playing Frisbee with them and a person came by and you saw the dog focus on that person, then you would wave the Frisbee around to redirect the dog to what he's paying attention to. But when you're redirecting it, you wouldn't be saying, come on, baby, because you would have been rewarding the dog focusing on the person.
Is that ever a mind shift? I got to admit, Bill, I haven't done this. I'm fairly new at this. And is that ever a mind shift? Because the traditional training would be to repeat that word over and over again until the dog, comes and tries to make sense of what you're saying. And you're saying, be proactive, get the dog. So it's making sense. I'm getting it, but I'm having to wrap my head around it.
You are going to say the word over and over and over again, but at the right time, you're going to say the word over and over. Not when the dog is not doing it. I mean, I see Stacy and Suzanne and Crystal all watching this, and they must be sitting back saying, oh, there he is at it again, saying the same three things: food, touch, sound. And don't jibber jabber or talk to your dog when you're teaching something. If you were teaching your child
Right.
mathematics at the table and she's working at it and trying to figure it out, you're not going to help it by jibber jabbering and saying, do it more, come on, come on, come on, sit, because it hasn't done the behavior yet. That doesn't matter whether you're training a bomb detector dog or training a pet dog for your house. Okay.
Right.
So
what do we want to talk about next, Bill?
have we got anybody throwing out any questions on that, or are they all?
No questions yet, but I want to. Yep.
If you have any questions, throw them out. And if you have any objectives for some other show of specific things that you want to do, because even if I was doing a session on advanced training, it would still have a basic information for somebody watching.
Yeah, I agree. No, we just have a lot of people right now saying hello, of course, and it's so great to see you, which is fantastic. So I'm going to let you kind of lead the direction in this, Bill, and go to your next topic, whatever you want to go to. I'm taking notes.
Okay, well, like I said, it's going to be a review for some of my students, but I think it might help them to show somebody else about it. I thought what we'd try here is, because of all this COVID problem and being thankful that the special service people are helping us out and making us able to get through this, then we should probably do a lot of praying. So I thought maybe we'd work on dogs praying. Anything you do to create confidence in your dog will develop confidence in something else that you want to train. So something as mundane as teaching a dog to lay on its side has a big value when you want to teach the dog to jump up a wall. So anything you do helps. So if I take a big dog and I want to create a behavior, I don't know whether you can see me here now. And this dog is a
Labrador. We can see you.
So you can see it. You can see Annie and me. Okay.
Yes, we sure can.
So she's showing off a little bit here, but I hold something that she wants, which happens to be a piece of cheese. And if she grabs at it, watch it disappear. It'll go from positive to negative. Positive, negative. Positive, negative. Positive, negative. Why does it go negative? Because she's trying to grab it. Good dog. Good dog. Now, if I have her sitting and I move my hand back over her head, it'll make it negative and she'll reach for it. Good dog. Pretty, 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 pretty. Okay? So I want the dog to learn to use its two back legs and its tail to make a triangle so it can support its heavy weight when it's going up there. So that takes balance. And no two children have the same balance. Some need to develop more, some don't need to. Same with dogs. So if I go negative, pretty, and she gets it. Now, if I take this and I want to do the pray, once I have the sit where she's here, I'm now going to sweep her two arms up. And it's going to make her uncomfortable. But if I do it over and over, she won't be uncomfortable because I will reward it with the treats, with the things that she wants. So here, I put her two paws on my arm, and then I give her a treat and say, pray. Pray, until she's comfortable with the two arms on her feet on here. Now, once that's done, I now put the treat from underneath my arm to get the nose down. Pray, 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 pray. When she puts her head up, I don't say it anymore. I now stop talking and say it down here. Pray, pray, pray. Good girl, good girl, good girl. So that's a big dog, and that would be a German Shepherd or a 5 or 6 month old large dog breed. First, you get him to sit. Then get him to come backwards so that he will sit using
Yeah.
his 2 back legs and his tail in a triangle, the same way as if you were teaching yoga and you wanted somebody to stand on their head. It would be your 2 elbows and your head in a triangle. Okay? So
let's that was excellent. Yeah, we have some comments and questions on the side whenever you're ready, Bill.
go ahead.
Question from Margie McNeil from Cape Breton. I have a Yorkie and he barks at everything. What can I do?
Well, number one, you want to make sure that he's confident of everything. So if you take him out for a walk and he's barking at everybody, then is it because he's scared of them? Probably is. It doesn't matter if he's chasing, he's probably scared of them. So if you have a leash, and your dog should never be out off of a leash, dragging on the ground or in your hand when you're training. So if you have a dog on a leash and he's scared of the person next to it coming along, then you want to set it up so that you can give the leash to the other person and say, here, and let the other person hold the leash. You can then give a treat to that other person and say, give that to my dog, and let the other person hold the treat. And you walk 10 feet away or 5 feet away, and that person offers the treat to the dog. Now, if it's totally scared to death, then it's not going to take the treat, but it can't run and hide to you. So after a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, you could go and take the leash and walk away. You have completed a training session. It hasn't been successful yet, but it is a procedure that we do. You can't really do all your additions right now, but later on you will get better and better and better at it. So if the dog is barking and it's scared, then go to somebody and they say, oh, that's a cute dog. Yeah. Would you mind holding the leash for a second? Because I'm trying to train the dog. And most people will say yes. Some people will say, no, I'm too scared of it. But if it's a Yorkie, then less people will say that. Now, if it's a big German Shepherd, you may have to set that up with some friends, but you have to see if the dog is scared.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The other thing is you could take your dog out and go for a walk, and don't say anything to the dog for 2 or 3 days of the walk, except for when it does something proper that you create. If the dog starts to bark at somebody, if it's already barking, it's too late to do this. But if it turns its head, and you as a coach or a trainer know the dog is focused on something else and it's not what I want, so I want to give it a negative, and it doesn't want any treat from me, so I can't withhold something. The only thing I've got is my touch and my sound. So the first thing I'm going to do is go, hey, and the dog will then look at me, and I'm going to say, good dog. And when he looks back at the other person, I do the same thing again, and he looks at me, and I say, good dog. Now that might take 5 or 6 times, and I proceed on my way. But the next time I do that, it's going to not take 5 or 6 times. It's going to take 3 or 4 times. And I walk away. And the next time I do it, it's not going to take 3 or 4 times. It's going to take 1 or 2 times. And I walk away. And so the dog learns not to bark. But if he's barking at people and he's scared, and you're down there on your knees saying, it's okay, it's my Uncle Ralph, it's all right, then you're rewarding it with sound. And if you're petting the dog, trying to calm him down, then you're rewarding it with touch. And you might as well just give him a cookie too.
Yeah. I got another question, Bill, from Linda Poulet. And she says, I'm going to bring it up here. What's the best way to start building basic confidence in a very reactive dog? Amanda Didichuk.
That, the best, did you say the best time or the best place?
The best way. What's the best way to start building basic confidence in a very reactive dog?
You start the very first day you get the dog, and you observe the dog every moment that you have the dog. It's what it's scared of. And if it's scared of going underneath a ladder, then you build up its confidence to go underneath the ladder. by you going after it or first, taking the leash, using the food treats, whatever you use, the dog will become confident going underneath the ladder. That next time, if it's going through a tunnel, if it's scared there, it will not be as scared as it was when it didn't dare go underneath the ladder. And once you've gone through the tunnel the same way, the next time you approach a big heavy truck and it's making big rumbling noises that are scaring your dog, being reactive is scared, right? And so because what you did with the tunnel and because what you did with the ladder, it's going to make that truck one easier to do as you go, because you're making the dog's confidence up. I see a puddle, I don't walk around it, I walk through it. If the dog plows right through it, then I see the dog has confidence. If the dog pulls on the leash and doesn't dare go through it, then I see the dog lacks some confidence. So I have to get my feet wet to be able to make sure that that's going to happen.
We have a couple comments, one from Stacy. Stacy says, love this, and although I know it's a lot, it's great to have a refresher and reminder. Ashley Atkins and Spencer and I are here.
Well,
and then Margie, she was about Yorkie.
Stacy has been doing marvelous. Stacy's been doing marvelous work with her German Shepherds, following what Christy does with her German Shepherds and all her dogs. And I think they've used these techniques that they've learned from me, not only for their dogs and their kids, but I think they've used these techniques for their turkeys and their rats and their cats. All those techniques work the same. That's why we have a wife or a partner learns what their partner's favorite food is, and then uses that knowledge as a reward for behaviors.
Yeah.
So shall we?
I've got my daughter Bill in the background, and I want to tell her, Eva, think of a question so that when I bring you on screen with Bill. Eva's 11 and she's committed and she's up every morning helping me train. What we want to know is what roles in the family should we play, since there's so many of us. So when I bring Eva on, we can talk about that. But maybe just address that, Bill. When you're in a big family, what role should you be playing?
Everybody can partake in training, and the more people that partake in the training in the family are going to make and create more confidence and more control of the animal by anybody in the family. So, number one, those two puppies or a new dog that I get, and I've never, or maybe it's an adult dog and I get it. I'm going to make sure that it's on a leash, this small leash like this, all the time. Now, I'm not going to ever let the dog be alone on that leash. If the dog is not with me, not in my living room, not around in the kitchen or the bedroom, then it's on this leash. So that I can then be able to keep it beside me while I work. And if I walk into the bathroom, he'll go with me or she'll go with me. Both dogs, if you had two, each one on a leash. And if I wanted to have it to learn to stay, then I would tie the leash to the doorknob and I'd walk away from it, and then I'd come back. And while I was away from it, I'd be saying, stay, 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 as a reward because the dog is staying there. Of course, he's only staying there because he's tied by the leash, but the behavior is being done. Yeah. So it's a matter of repetition, and it's a matter of confidence in the animal and the trainer. So if a 5-year-old child is taught to hold that biscuit, that treat in their hand between two fingers, as opposed to in their hand, and you're talking about the child. No wonder the dog mouths at the hand because it wants to get in there. It already knows, can see that, and will take it gently. So we train the child, and by training the child and helping them get the dog to sit, the child learns, the dog learns,
Yeah.
And the dog becomes better and it learns its natural behaviors that way. I think probably an example would be, and some of my working dog students know this well. People are asked, when you have a cadaver dog and when you have a drug dog and when you have a bomb dog, how often do they find the drugs, find the bomb, or find the body parts? And the answer to that from a trainer is they find them every day. They find them every day. They're in training and they find them every day. So that when they're not in training, then that smell goes into their nose. They know this is the behavior that makes my master happy, and now I got a chance to do it. So that's what happens when time is built up. Now, the time that in a dog's life is not the same as the time in a human's life. You have children, and I would hazard a guess that they're not going to be trained the way you want them to be trained until they're about 18 or 19 years old. Right? Some successfully before, not many, and some take longer, maybe more. A dog is going to be successfully trained in 2 years, a year and a half. Successfully trained for what you have put into it in a year and a half. But that dog has spent over 15 years with you in their life, because their life goes a lot faster than ours. So this 30-minute session that we do right now, this 30-minute session we do right now for you and me, actually on Foxy being a year old is about 3 hours. And on Annie, who's about 2 years old, is about an hour and a half. So the time frames are different, and as a trainer, you work on it. So if you have the leash, get up in the morning and you put the leash on the dog and you walk out the door and the leash is dragging along the ground. And as soon as the dog is not paying attention to you and the leash is by your foot and it's going out past your foot, you step on it, the dog will fetch up. And then you'll say, good dog. So you reward the dog because it came back to you or it stopped running from you. And that becomes habit. Tomorrow, the next day, guess what? The dog's not running out there like that.
Right.
So on the same behavior.
I'm looking at more.
Go ahead.
No, there's a bit of a delay in our Wi-Fi, so you keep going.
Okay. So in the same behavior, what I did with Annie for that prey, if I was to take a small dog, thank you, like this one, and I have to tip that forward a little bit, and I wanted the dog to sit, then I would put its feet in this position here, and then I would take and push its body up here, and I would say, pretty, 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 good dog. And then I would give it a treat. And then I would do it again. Put the bum of the dog down, lift it up, hold its feet down, say pretty, 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 good dog, good dog, pretty, pretty, good dog. So I'm building up the dog's confidence. It wasn't confident doing that. It was slippery. And I'm sure that if we brought if we brought a child up from South Dakota and brought them out on the ice at our local hockey rink, they'd be doing the same thing on the ice. But after a while, they would become get their balance and they become comfortable. This actually teaches the dog to use its 2 hind legs and its tail as a triangle, and it uses its core body to put it in position and hold it. Pretty, 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 pretty. So when I hold the food negatively, can't have it, there. Pretty, 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 pretty. And 1 foot came up off the ground, 2 feet we're using it for balance.
Yeah.
Pretty, 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 pretty. Good dog, pretty, good dog. Okay? So yeah, you do that over and over and over, and pretty
Yeah.
soon, in a week, in 10 days, you have a dog that's sitting pretty. Now you could do that with one dog while the other dog was tied. Then you could put this
Yep.
one and tie this one and do the
Yep.
other one. Because using them both together is something you do after you've trained the behaviors. So one of your critiques on that video would be, why are you working both dogs together right now?
Right. Okay.
So
I thought they were benefiting each other. I thought they were copying, but now I'm understanding what you're saying.
well, they probably are copying, but they're not copying what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. So a question from Eve, I'm going to put that up. Eve Godin says, Can went up ramp on the ramp with the engine running. Thanks for the direction. It worked great. Not sure what she's talking about, but fill us in, Bill.
Well, that's a dog that when they sent me information on it, I could see, I could read, understand, read that the dog was scared of sounds. Cars went by, it jumped, and the person would be saying, it's okay, it's okay. So I saw they were rewarding that. So I said, expose it to different sounds. If you're going down by the local mechanic shop that you usually go to, take the dog in there with your little bag of treats, take the dog in the mechanic shop, introduce them to the people. They probably all love to see a new dog, and take them over by the guy that's taking the wheels off with that electric wheel wrench that's going, voot, 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 voot. And if the dog is scared, do it anyway, and then do it again tomorrow. And you watch, the dog won't be so scared tomorrow. And you're building up the dog's confidence so he's not scared of that. If he's not scared of all those sounds, he's not going to be scared of somebody that jumps out from the bushes. Your confidence begets confidence. If you learn to skate, you'll play football better. If you learn to play football, you'll learn to play rugby better. So those all pay off by building up the dog's confidence. I'm always, when I'm with a dog, looking for something that might cause the dog some anxiety because it's scared. Maybe it's rattling a sign that I walk underneath when I'm on the sidewalk, and I see the dog get scared and scoot away. Well, that means that I'm going to hit every other sign that I find. Where some other people might say, well, I'm not going to do that because it scared my dog. I want to build my dog's confidence up.
Right. So, Bill, do you think our pets can sense, I mean, I think I know your answer to this, but right now, if you're suffering from any stress or extra anxiety from what we're going through, do you think our dogs can sense a shift in our routine that we normally have with all this that's going on? Can you give us kind of enlighten us with, merging this situation together with pet owners, basically?
Yes, and I know they can sense it. They don't sense it. It's broadcast from us. We see it. You are with a significant other, and you tell me that you can't tell after you've been with them for 10 or 11 years that they're nervous, that they're upset, that they're worried. Yes, you can. And the dog, who's only been with you for a year, in your time, has been with you for 15 years or 5 years in its time. So if your demeanor changes, if you get upset, if you get worried, and the dog has learned to come and investigate why you're worried, and you start petting him, and then all of a sudden you change your behavior, then the dog has trained you to pet me so that you will not be worried. At the same time, we put off a cortisoid, right? And a cortisoid is put off by anxiety. So not only is that you're acting strange, but the dog is now detecting a smell coming off of you, a cortisol smell off of you. And that's increasing up as your anxiety goes up. So the dog has learned that if I go over and check you out and you smell like that and you pet me, it changes and you get happy again. So then we have a service dog
Yeah.
that has learned how to calm down you. And some of these dogs are doing such fantastic work with some of our responders who have gone overseas and seen such atrocious things that they have nightmares. And the dog can detect that cortisol building up and then cuddle you if it has learned that that makes you happy.
That is phenomenal. Like, that blows me away. Do you understand what he's saying, Eva? That a dog can actually understand your emotions and the mood you're in. So it's amazing. So I'm going to open up the microphone here for my daughter. I'm going to unmute her. So Eva, what are you learning so far? Any questions do you have for Bill? Just let me unmute your microphone here. Whoops, sorry. Just a second, sweetheart. I'm going to get it here. Unmute microphone. Come on. Don't glitch on me now. Can't unmute your guest because they choose to. Oh, you have to unmute it yourself, Eva. There we go. Okay. So Eva, do you have any questions for Bill, or is there anything that just stands out tonight that he said that kind of hit home with you, with everything we've been going through with the pups? Can't hear you. I don't think we can hear you, Eva. You might have to, how about you just come in this room? Come in this room and ask Bill. So turn yours off and come in the room with me and ask him on my screen because we can't hear you. So Bill, I'm just noticing some comments on the side here. Just want to make sure that I'm getting everyone's questions. This is excellent. Awesome tips. Alex, we are in the garage right now training all of these control and confidence keys. Miranda and Nush. Been training for Bills with years, and that's from Nanette. So there she is. So any questions that you have for Bill while we're here with him?
I've been understanding a lot that I never knew that sound is reward. I always thought it was like the dog could learn to understand what good means and bad means, but I never knew it was just a sound. It wasn't reward.
Yeah. So sound is important. Yeah. Here we're going to put up a question. Yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, well, that is a very important lesson, and I'm glad you saw that lesson. So you'll be able to say, Mom, you're talking too much to the dog. Get the behavior first. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Linda, good question, Linda. I'm going to put that up on screen.
How do you correct
jealousy?
For attention between two dogs? A 5-year-old lab border collie? Yep, that goes back to control and confidence. If the shy dog is pushing the dominant dog, the leader dog, then it's trying to create a give up to the dog. In other words, leave me alone. And it's fear. So one dog is fearful and the other one might be dominant. So the fearful one needs to build up its confidence and the dominant one needs control. So I teach it when people have two dogs like that, I teach a behavior. Here we go, regular trainers, called place. And place is taught to the dog to become an arbitrary thing that happens with a word. When the dog learns place, it stops. It doesn't move from that place. It can sit down, it can lay down, it can stand up, but it doesn't leave that place. So I do that by taking one dog alone and teaching him place. and I can walk away from them after I say place, and I can drop pieces of treats on the floor and the dog won't get it. And I can have somebody come in with a cat and the dog won't leave because he's learned place. And I do that with food, touch, and sound. So that when I say sit, the dog learns that its bum has to go on the ground. When I say down, then it learns that the dog's elbows touch the ground. And when I say place, it learns that, oh, I'm comfy here, but I just can't leave this spot. Once that's trained into the dog, then I'm going to take the dominant dog and I'm going to teach it have it do place. And then I'm going to coax and play with the submissive dog. And when that happens, I'm going to teach the submissive dog place. And I'm going to put that dog in place and go over and play and coach with the dominant dog. So the behaviors are that it learns the command to stay in place. So it's not going to go and show aggression to the other dog because it learned place. If it hasn't learned place, then it shouldn't be let loose with the other dogs. So you can let it loose, and not loose, but with the leash. The little tiny leash. Where I put it?
Right here.
No, there, got it. 2 dogs, even adult dogs, if I was introducing them in the house or starting to do a behavior with the dog, something different, would have these leashes on. And they would wear them around the house, dragging them here, dragging them there. They're not going to get caught or fetched up. And if they do, I'm the one that's going to go and rescue them. So it's thank you very much. You helped me out. So it's going to build up control and it's going to build up the word place. So when you do that, whether they're 2 adult dogs or an adult dog and a puppy or 2 puppies, you still have to have them so that they develop control as you develop the confidence.
I've got
I had a
comment.
I think I had somebody say, I think it was Lori, a 4-month-old husky that's biting. How can you stop this? Well, first of all, you have to know what the biting is. Is the dog, that doesn't explain it to me as a trainer what that biting is. The dog can bite to play. The dog can bite to drag me around. The dog can bite because it's scared and he shows his teeth, or the dog can bite because he's mad at me. So I have to know why the dog is biting. Does he mean biting when I hand him a treat? He tries to bite my hand to get the treat faster. Once you know why the reason is happening, you can address it. So I need more information. And the best way in this day and age is for people to send me a video of what's actually happening and let me look at it and tell them what I think and how it would be changed and how much time it would take to change it.
Mm-hmm. So we're just rounding up here. Bill, is there any closing words that you'd like to get out there to viewers tonight? This has been a jam-packed, awesome information. I have so many notes.
Well, if we start doing more of these and we have specific things that the dog wants to work on, but you should take videos of your dogs stumbling through it now, of trying to do sit and trying to do down and doing them individual. And then in a month's time, take a video again and compare them. And you're going to see a big improvement if you do your homework. If the dog, people say, how long do I train my dog? I train him all day. I'm training him all day. Yeah. He's either in place, he's either in come to me, he's either laying down sleeping, which is time out for him, but he's not running around going crazy because he's learned control. And the younger you do it, the faster they'll learn. Okay. We're starting to train dogs. We're starting to train dogs now before their eyes are open. The new science is training puppies before their eyes are open.
Wow. It puts a perspective on the timing of how fast they grow and our perspective of early to train.
Well, if you get this basic knowledge and you can understand how to put those 3 simple things together in food, touch, and sound, and with some other directions of distance and distractions and durations and things like that we talk about in training, but starting with those 3 basics, you will see a big difference in your dog. And it's a good understanding and a good basic to start your training levels further.
Yeah. Bill, thank you so much again for this time. And do you have anything to close here to show us Roxy and Foxy and Annie? We'd love to see them.
Well, let me just see if I can do a jump with Annie and Foxy and see if we can tip this forward.
All right.
Okay. Annie. Turn that around.
You tell me when there.
So here and my negatives. Hup. Good dog. Bumped into it, but that's okay. She tried. Do it again. My food. Hup. Good dog. And she did it that time. Take.
Some room.
Hup. Hup. Good dog. So that's teaching a dog to jump either over your stick or through your hands. Hup. And you do that by using your stick or your arm at a very low point until the dog just steps over your arm, and call that hup, hup, or jump, jump. And when you do that, habits build up, and you go to a log out in the field and you say hup, and the dog jumps over it. So you got lots of time to train your dogs because you're locked in the house. So do something unique, teach them something new. Pray for everybody, get the dogs to pray for everybody. And what do they say now? Stay the blazes home.
That's right. Thank you so much, viewers. Thank you, Claire, in the background there, your backstage design set manager. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Rebecca.
And it was so great. It was so great to see you guys. I look forward to this on Sundays. I tell you, what a great time. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Stay safe. Stay home, you guys. And
Happy Easter.
thanks again. Thanks again, you guys.
Okay.
And viewers, thanks for watching again. Please feel free to hashtag replay or share this video. And check out Bill Grimmer's website, Grimmer.ca. Thanks to my daughter Eva tonight for coming on with us as well. And please put comments in. We'll send them to Bill as well. This broadcast is officially over. This is Rebecca from FlipX Canada and Eva. Take care, guys. Have a great night.
Your camera's not working, honey.